Digital ladies breaking the chain, rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your crypto, know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa Key, the Lady K, and RT Dipito. Come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pay.
Crypto nights, we're lighting the spark. As we ignite now, we're setting the mark.
Safety first, we're keeping it tight. Blockchain power, we're shining the light. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa Key, the Lady K, and RT Dipito. Come ride this wave.
Welcome to Digital Ladies Unscripted. How you doing this evening, ladies?
Excellent.
Great.
We got
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, you
Happy
guys.
New Year.
I want to say thank you so much for holding down the fort last week. That was fantastic. You guys did a great job. I loved it. I was listening in. I was just out for the couch. But you guys did a great job, and thank you so much. So much is happening, right? And it's wild. It's wild. You guys did a great job covering it. This evening, we're talking XRP Ledger wallets, smart segmentation, and staying hidden on the public ledger. Guys, grab your spot on the couch and join the four of us tonight, because we're going to focus all about wallet segmentation and traceability on the XRP Ledger, because everything on the XRP Ledger is public forever. And one wallet address can reveal your entire holdings, your transaction history, what NFTs you hold, your meme tokens, even link back to your real identity if you're not careful. And in 2026, with better tracing tools and more eyes on the ledger, how are we supposed to still have fun in the community without painting a huge target on our backs? So tonight we thought about this, and we talked about it, and we're going to touch on some practical things to keep in mind when you're moving around on the XRP Ledger, such as the wallet segmentation basics, and why and how to use separate wallets for different purposes, and traceability. How easy is it for someone to trace your wallets around the ledger? So we're going to talk about some simple protection moves. It's a 1 hour straight talk. Hopefully we'll have time to answer some questions. If you do have any questions, please put them in all caps in the chat. And Keita, who do we got in the chat this evening?
Oh my goodness. We have our so faithful Silver Days was our first person in the chat. That is always. And so you get the gold star, not silver, but gold. Then we also have Stone, and also Miss Connie Evans and Miss Stephanie. We are so glad to have you all. And we have 10 folks that are hanging out with us that we can see are streaming. And we are streaming live to IMU TV, as well as here on YouTube and also on the X app. So you might be able to also check us out on that big screen right there.
Oh, I tell you what, it's so exciting. I downloaded the IMU TV app, ladies, and
Yes.
they've got I think 5 uploads of Digital Ladies Unscripted on there that you can watch, and it's a beautiful app. It's really awesome. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And it was only like 25 megabytes space on my app on my phone to
it didn't take up a lot of space at all. No, not at all. And it's very fast
that they put on your phone,
Yeah.
So it was definitely something I was happy to download. So I guess because we got a little bit of time, let's get right to it. First thing I kind of wanted to talk about, you guys, is why does this even matter? What we're going to talk about, moving around safely on the XRP Ledger in particular. That's what we're talking about tonight, the XRP Ledger. Why does it matter for people to even think about these types of things?
I think it's super important, especially because one of the main things about the ledger is that it is all on display, right? All of your transactions, everything that you're doing on the blockchain is there. So if someone wants to go back and find out what's going on, what you've been doing, they can trace it all the way back to you. So I think that's it. I think that it's really important, right now, because we are in the infancy and there aren't real like laws in place that are there to protect us. You know what I mean? Really yet. Not saying that that's not coming, but it's not there yet. So I just think it's very important for sure.
I just think it's nobody's business.
That too.
I mean, we don't display our checking accounts, right? So, I mean, privacy matters. I mean, it's good to be, So I think it's, I don't know.
No,
I think that's a
agree.
valid point, though. I think that's very valid.
Well, and Opti and I, that kind of started with a conversation that Opti and I were having the other day, in terms of having your wallets being traced, as you're moving around the space, right? And it made me a little bit nervous. I've thought about this for a while, but Optimistic Prime is about as out there in public as you could possibly be, right, Amanda?
Yeah, well, I mean, like that, what Lady K said, like that's what the hardest part about becoming somebody who works on, just anything on the ledgers. That was the hardest thing for me to reconcile. It was like, okay, how do I move knowing that everything I do can be hyper analyzed in the future when, I don't know anything. So I'm moving from a perspective of not knowing anything. And, how do I make sure that all my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted that I don't even know exist kind of thing. And so for 5 years, that's why I basically don't take any kind of like profits that come in. They're never profits, but any kind of revenue that comes in for like memberships and stuff like that. Like I try not to take it off the ledger so that it's just there so that everybody can see that I never like tried, it could never be, nobody can ever accuse me of like taking, what was not mine or whatever it was, And so, I mean, it's been a wild ride because essentially what I got to the point of is I KYC that first account on Examine. I got the pro and I did that because I felt like as I built out the Wandering footprint, I wanted that sort of trust, I wanted to I sort of have given up I sort of relinquished all my fear around people knowing who I was and what my wallets were. And I sort of went in, I didn't dip a toe. I jumped way in because, I mean, this comes with a lot of other problems because as soon as I KYC'd that, any account that I make is now KYC'd, right? So you can trace any wallet I've made back to me. And then I have an even bigger issue where Blue Umbrella token has my face on it. It doesn't have the logo. It has my face on it. And that's not because the TOML file has it. It's because Examine KYC'd my thing and they have some kind of they also have a layer, right? So they can sort of put their own logo or the logo that you send to them or whatever on the thing. So there's a lot of confusion for me. And at this point, I had separate accounts and I was doing only the meme stuff, only the incentives with everybody in the community and everybody time I met somebody new buy 1 XRP worth of their token. And so I had a separate account for that. And then as I got to know more people in the community, I started moving, sort of my long-term holdings for meme tokens that I thought I don't ever want to sell this, right? So I had a wallet for okay, I'll ride the wave. I'll watch I'll watch the charts. Maybe I'll buy 1 XRP. It'll go up to 2 XRP. I'll sell worth 1 XRP. So then I'll just play with the one and then I'll send that to my account. It was basically sort of how I started doing it. And then all these incentives came out and then the NFTs came out and then you had to have the meme token, how much was of the meme token you had. And if you were in the liquidity pool, had to be attached to this NFT. And so all of a sudden I was like, everything, like all the incentives were connected to all the NFTs that were all connected to me. So that's sort of how, and then we started talking about that the other day about like, I don't really know what to do about this now, you know, because I'm worried about, you know, you hear these crazy things about people being kidnapped and, you know, being put under duress so that they can give them their crypto. And I'm thinking like, okay, as we expand, how can we protect ourselves in a ledger that's completely transparent?
Well, it's a good thing you asked that because we're going to go over it. And I will mention this. It's a lot different when XRP was 50 cents. Now we're what Keith and I were talking before the show, and I saw it touch $2.41 or whatever. And I'm like, you know, it's a whole nother story when we start climbing in price, right? Because not only does your XRP bag it grow, so does the value of your NFTs and your meme tokens and all those things, right? And we spend a lot of time in spaces. There's contests. We're trying to support everyone, you know, purchase NFT to support them. There's all these cool projects that are happening. There's art being sold, and it's drop your wallet publicly. Well, I've always had an issue with dropping it publicly. I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it, but I understand why, you know, it makes it easy as someone who is trying to give an airdrop or give somebody a free NFT in a contest, right? It makes it easy than them having to trust somebody DMing them and going through your DMs and finding it. So what's the solution to all of this? And before I get to that, do you have any extra comments on that, Lady Kate?
Oh, I just want to say XRP is popping. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I was doing some research on my questions, you know, and that's kind of how I always start with this stuff. It's like, here's the problem that I see. How can I fix it? What are the solutions? Now, those of you listening in the chat, if you have any additional suggestions or questions or concerns, maybe post those in all caps, and maybe we'll be able to get to them. But one of the suggestions right off the bat, well, first, right off the bat, it's wallet segmentation, right? And basically, it's like, okay, well, what the heck do you mean by that? What do you mean by wallet segmentation? And basically, at the core, it means intentionally using separate wallets with different XRP Ledger addresses for different purposes or risk levels. So this is a deliberate strategy to compartmentalize your activity on the ledger so that a compromise, mistake, or public exposure in one area doesn't jeopardize everything else you hold or do. So, you know, if you think about it in real world, we have different bank accounts in real life, right? We have one for our long-term holdings. We don't ever look at that account. We don't touch it. We don't do anything with it. We have an account that's for everyday spending. And then some of us actually even use prepaid cards for shopping online, right? Because sometimes you have the risk of getting everything stolen from you if you're using your cards, your main bank account, to shop for all this stuff online. I don't know about you, but I fell for some of those Facebook buy this on here for $10. It's going to be a super sweet garden thing. And I ended up with like a little tiny wrench it was supposed to be like this great big plastic outdoor like potting area, you know, to go. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I think it was like $20 or something. And my sane mind, my good mind told me, don't do it, Melissa. This is a trap. This is a scam. Don't do it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to do it. And then I got an email like about a week later. It was like, trace your package. I'm like, I ain't clicking that link for nothing. I'm not clicking it. And then about 2 months later in the mail, I got this random little tiny wrench sent to me. And I was like, oh, man, that was probably from my problem, right? But the same kind of stuff can happen in crypto, right, guys?
Oh, yeah. I just had that happen with the half asleep in frogs pajamas. The actual the actual. I didn't get the book.
Oh,
I got the cover.
what?
Seriously?
What? Can you
Let
tell
tell
me
you
what
something.
happened? I don't know
was
this
so
story.
disgusted. I was so disgusted.
Side story. Let's go. Ladies,
Yeah.
Digital Ladies Unscripted. It is
telling you.
unscripted. Tell us
telling
about
you.
it, Keena.
So I said to myself, "Self, we're gonna get this book," and nowhere else was selling it. So I was like, "All right." So I was on Amazon and I saw it. And I'm like, "Oh, Have a Sleep in Frost pajamas. Let's go." Thing was like $25. So I was like, "All right," and so weeks are going by. We're already halfway through the book, and I'm like, "Wait, where's my book?" And next thing you know, I get this package and I'm looking at it and I'm going, this doesn't feel like a book. And I opened it and no lie, it was nothing but a actual picture of the cover of the book.
Oh my God.
And I was like, y'all got me. y'all got me good. Y'all got me.
Did you
And
write a very strongly worded letter?
well, no, actually, I went back to Amazon and was like, I want my money back. That's what I want. I want my money back because this is not what I asked for. And
That's hilarious.
thankfully, that I was like, look, you want me to send it back? I'll send it back. No problem. But I want my money.
You don't want it for your wall, Kita? You don't want to just like hang it up there and forever remember the woo woo? That's funny. Thanks for sharing that. That's funny.
The funny part about it is they just gave my money back. I guess somebody must have called back and said the same thing. They didn't even ask anything. They didn't even ask me to send it back. They just gave me my money back.
Well, and that's one of the things about, the whole ethos of the Watering Footprint is support local, grow global, rise together, right? And I have, as soon as 2020 hit, I was like, I'm not buying anything from Amazon again. I just like felt that they were in on it and whatever. But this is one of the reasons why Amazon keeps on keeping on, because if you don't get the right product, like how often have we had things delivered to the wrong house because we don't have the proper, we don't have a proper address because we live on a reservation. So we've had so many things dropped at other people's houses, and I can just call Amazon and be like, you dropped it at the wrong house. And they're like, oh, sorry, here's your money back, or here's a refund, or here's the other product. And exactly what you're talking about, Melissa, about the scams, the support local. So often, the independent links, especially these days, are so scary. I had a package come and I didn't check because I was so scared. I didn't check on the thing. And because it was like a shipping company I'd never heard of. It was all the telltale signs of a scam, right? And then I got another message, and then I went on. I think it was Amazon actually, and I went in and I was like, okay, where's this stuff? And there was like, oh, this came from Firefly Shipping, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's the shipping company that's sending me emails, and so this is legit. But yeah, like it's really hard to navigate all of this stuff, and it's hard to navigate for us, and we are multifaceted thinking humans who have ADHD and can think of 1,000 things at the same time. Like I can't even imagine what the average person especially over let's say 70, like what are you talking about? Like this just seems way too much. So I hope that this conversation tonight helps me along with the rest of the community on like what options do we have?
Right.
Speaking of scams and packages, this literally happened today. I had a tenant application come in, and under proof of income, they uploaded a photo of a letter they received in the mail that said, you have been accepted as a package inspector. You'll be paid $4,000 a month to receive packages, switch the label, and mail it out.
Are you kidding me right now? Oh my God.
No, I am not. And then there was a form.
And they sent it? But they showed it?
Oh yeah,
because it was verified their address and name, right? It was their they were trying to say, look, we're legit.
And it had a form for him to fill out his driver license, social security number, and all that, and send back to them.
No.
Like they hired you without that information, and it was an insurance company which doesn't send packages, and it was like the whole list of red flags. So I call this guy and I'm like, dude, this is a scam. And so I start listing all the reasons why. And he's like, oh my God, I was about to send them my driver's
So
license.
you're not
God,
even,
good
wait,
for
so
you,
nothing,
though.
nothing went up like, hey,
No.
hey, that don't sound right. Like nothing.
That takes the stuffing envelopes job to a whole nother level, right? My mom and her boyfriend fell for that one. Send us a couple $100. We'll they didn't have no money, they're sending them $500 for some envelopes and whatever, and they're gonna make 4 times that or whatever the hell. And it's like, oh man, mommy, what did you do? But yeah, guys, it's tough out here. And as this whole digital asset space progresses, some of things are getting clearer and other things are getting a little bit more foggy. And as more people enter, discovering ways to protect yourself is the best practice. No matter if you're thinking about it, you're headed in the right direction, in my opinion. So let's talk a little bit about the segmentation. So basically, if you how to get started with it. So first thing you want to do is create your addresses, and we all frequent the Zaman wallet because it's very easy. I know there's other wallets out there. Are you fans of any other ones that you would suggest that you could easily create an XRP Ledger wallet that you like besides Zaman?
Well, there is a Joey.
The Joey wallet.
But you can't sign into XRP Cafe with it. That's my biggest problem, is you have to be able to sign into XRP Cafe, in my opinion, with a wallet that's any kind of usefulness. And so even though I've tried out other ones.
You can't sign in with Joey? I can sign in with
Can
Joey.
you now? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, because the last time I checked, you couldn't.
Yeah, because in order for me to be able to, when I purchased the X meme, I used my Joey wallet. And so I was able to log into Zaman.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I take it back. Apologize. Sorry, Joey wallet. So Joey wallet's a pretty decent one.
I mean, there are other wallets too that that you don't participate with the ledger on. Like, for example, the Exodus wallet. You can hold XRP, right? But you're not able to give them your wallet. They're going to send you the NFT to that wallet, right? So you really to participate in those types of things, you really have to have an XRP Ledger wallet. However, it could be a solution to what we're going to talk about as far as segmenting the different kinds of wallets that you have. And so
and I just want to add, there is Gem Wallet. Anados just came out with a wallet. There's
Bifrost
wallet.
Crossmark.
And Bifrost does have the upholstered exchange DEX in it. And you can do the other things through XRPL toolkit. So, but you guys are right. It depends on what wallet, and what that wallet can do is going to depend on how you use it. And I think that's where we get mixed up, right? We open a Bifrost, and then suddenly we want to just go on XRP Cafe and interact with NFTs, and we can't without this extra knowledge. So then we go to Zaman, and then we start mixing everything up, right?
100%, Lady K.
I do want to add.
I
Sorry, I do want to add
people that didn't do any of this stuff until Amanda made me get a Zaman wallet. I was in my own little, with I got my XRP, but I wasn't participating with the ledger whatsoever. So continue, Amanda.
Yeah, I was going to add Bolt wallet, because Bill Dex has been really good to me with the money grabbers and stuff like that. And he just launched the Bolt wallet, which is really great. And I'm glad you mentioned the Anados wallet, because
can't forget Mad Labs.
And Mad Labs. I mean, I hope Zoj comes out of hibernation soon, because I've really tried, that I hope we talk about that later on, because that has been sort of my go-to on the, where you want to isolate things, in terms of it not really being out there and trackable and stuff like that. I mean, it's still on the ledger, but Anyways, I just wanted to mention Bolt and Antidote because they were in Stone Space this week talking about it, or last week talking about it. So.
Okay. So, the how to get started with segmentation. So no matter what wallet that you're using, Zaman is an easy one because you can add several accounts, and I'm sure these other wallets you can do the same thing. But you want to create your new addresses for your wallets, and you want to fund them thoughtfully, meaning you want to move XRP from cold daily burner and layers using irregular amounts when possible, or maybe you fund them. You fund them directly. Like what I've started to do. I don't really want to move funds from like a big bag that I've been trying to accumulate over
purchase
time.
On the wallet.
Just purchase on the wallet. And so Zaman is one of those that you can, and I'm sure the other ones, the same thing with Uphold. There's Uphold wallets and you can fund with it. I'm sure you can do the same thing with Bifrost. All of those wallets, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you're coming in with your quote unquote dry powder to buy XRP, that is a new transaction, new wallet, right? It's not really attached to any of your other wallets right now because you haven't transacted with those wallets. So at this point, if you fund it directly, it's not connected to the rest of your stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's a great idea because if you've ever transferred from a wallet to that exchange account, then you can actually search by destination tag to see all the wallets that exchange account has interacted with. So that's a great idea in the sense of like doing the purchase and activating the wallet, because then you're not attaching it to the exchange account that has a destination tag that can trace it to any other wallet you've interacted with that wallet and exchange account together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, definitely like I started worrying about people that are brand new to XRP Ledger and they're starting to dip their toe into NFTs and whatnot, and they don't know, and they're dropping their addresses publicly, and they don't know. Maybe they've got 5,000 XRP in their wallet, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to be. You shouldn't be telling anybody how much you have of anything. You don't tell people what's in your bank account, right? And this is one of the hardest things for people to wrap their mind around, is the fact that it is absolutely transparent, which we like that transparency, right? Right now, we like the transparency of it all because we're participating, we're beta testing with all of these builders, these new projects that people are popping up with, creative ideas. We're supporting them, right? We want to see what's going on. Right? We want to see that kind of stuff, just like we want to see the transparency in government and all these other things. However, we're not at a point yet where the zero knowledge proofs and those protective where you aren't seen because as just us regular people, we don't want people seeing inside our wallets. Right. So we're not there in terms of the protection already built in for us. We have to think about it and do it for ourselves. And so that's why I really wanted to talk about this. So if you create these new wallets, you want to label them clearly in your wallet app. So Zaman Wallet lets you nickname the different accounts that you use. And you're never going to cross-contaminate. Don't send large sums back and forth from a burner to your main if the burner has been public or risky. And then you want to back up each seed phrase separately and securely offline. Never take digital photos of them and that sort of thing. So basically, wallet segmentation is having separate wallets for different purposes, but done intentionally and consistently. And it becomes one of the most effective tools that you can use for safety and privacy on the fully transparent ledger like XRP Ledger. And so right now I'd like to talk about what are some examples of different wallets for different purposes? So you should be taking a piece of paper, writing it down, and thinking about, what am I going to be using this wallet for? What are any possibilities that I want to use wallets for? And write them down and think of names for them. Do you guys have any suggestions for those types of things?
Well, I mean, you can have one that is specifically for your NFTs, right? And then I think some of that really has to do more with just usability, ease of use. Is it connected everywhere? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to connect to different platforms with it? Or is it, you know, pretty much centered around one particular platform? That's one. Zaman pretty much is one that's, you know, pretty much everywhere. And I think it's just one of the oldest ones that are around and has a lot of use, you know, a lot of usability as well as utility to it. I remember when we were in Vegas and you were asking those questions concerning the Zaman wallet, Lady K, and just making sure that we were aware, because I know that you had asked about why are not, you know, all of the capabilities available on the Zaman wallet. Did you want to speak to that?
You know, we have so many different features on the XRPL Ledger, and I just don't think that we interact with them all, because no wallet has all of them available for us to utilize. Checks is a perfect example. We have had checks since 2020, and most people think it came out this year because Zaman integrated it this year. Before Zaman integrated it, there was no way to interact with that. How would anybody know we even had it?
And so the checks are when they are sending you over a payment, you don't have a trust line, but you're able to set up that trust line even though you don't have it, and accept that payment of whatever that token is. Now, do you have to actually set that up prior to, or is that something that can happen regardless? Am I making sense with that question?
Is it? Well, it's just a feature on the ledger that you can utilize, right?
Okay.
So Zaman has it now where you can send a check, but before Zaman had that you could send a check, how would you have to do that? Well, you would have to do that through your own code, which most people, you know what I mean, don't do. They use a wallet, right? So unless the wallet has the feature available for you to utilize, you know, most people use wallets. You know, they don't send their own transactions.
Can I ask you a question? So the beauty of the Zaman wallet is the fact that you set the trust line so that you can't get that unwanted spam dusting like what people have issues with on other ledgers, right? Where all of a sudden, you know, you're like, I have no idea why I got this kind of dusting of this or that. I have nothing to do with it or whatever. And basically people use that dusting to kind of see if you move it, right? I sent you a little Bitcoin, I sent you a little Ethereum, I did whatever. And then now they know that they sent it to an active wallet. You end up sending that off somewhere and now they can trace your wallet, right? And now don't think for 1 second that dusting can't be like authorities either. You know what I mean? Like I could see authorities sending dusting and things like that too, to different people's wallet, unsuspecting people, especially if you're into some shady shit. But if as far as the XRP man has checkbook that he's going to bring to the show tomorrow, debut,
That's what I was going to say.
Fantastic. But what my question is that because Zaman wallet has it where you have to set the trust line with the checkbook, and XRP man was the first person that ever sent me a check. Thank you for testing that out with me. But basically, he knew what my wallet was. He sent me a check. I still had to accept the check, right? But it's a different kind of transaction than just an automatic transaction, or what? What makes it different, Lady K, of the check transaction? It's just that I didn't set a trust line ahead of time, right? But I can still go verify and whatever, and then just accept the transaction. Is that right?
Yes. It's not a payment where you're just sending it. It's almost like sending an IOU to someone who may or may not have the trust line, and then you can accept that. So that's what it is. And what I mean by feature is the XRP Ledger has this transaction type that anybody could have utilized if they knew how to utilize it. But most people don't know how to utilize outside of a wallet. Therefore, they're stuck only utilizing things that a wallet has provided.
And here's the cool thing. Like Amanda was saying, go ahead and spill it. Tell it, Amanda, about XRP Man with the checkbook, because here's a man that said, nobody's done this. We need to do it. And he did it. Correct?
Yeah, like so basically the conversation happened last week where I did the Blue Umbrella airdrop, Blue Umbrella token airdrop on Christmas Day to all the people who held Remember the 5th of November NFTs. And 29 of the 90 didn't have trust lines. So what it was suggested by XRP Man and Stone was that I could use this check thing that I'd never even knew existed. That I could send over a tiny, or I could either send over the airdrop itself, or I could send over just a tiny amount to see if they would accept it. And so the next day, XRP Man had this checkbook, and I put up I don't know the proper expression here, but I did joke about how, like, if you don't have the trust line, like, do I really want to convert my tokens right now? But that's also a huge question for me in terms of like people who are just fishing for your stuff kind of thing. But at the same time, I mean, it's a great opportunity, especially for tokens just starting out or projects just starting out. Like, and then if you tackle, add TextRP and that whole idea back with it too, where you could be in communication, right? Because you can always write a memo, right? Like every time I do any kind of airdrop, I always write a memo. And I always say something nice or some quote or some, because I know it's on the ledger and people are going to go back and look at it. So it's, and a lot of people have those off, but Lady K doesn't have it off. So whenever I send her an airdrop, she reads the little comment. And so you could the Blue Umbrella token is trying to send you your, annual airdrop. Please set the trust line up, or here's a tiny amount. And once you set, this will cause you to create the trust line that will allow me to send more in the future, kind of thing. So,
well, that makes it more efficient for the people that are doing something like that, right? Because you're having to chase these people down, get them to do what they should have done. And a lot of people, because we're all new, we don't really know what we're doing. This is a useful tool to be able to, or to see a business. You might not set the trust line because you're going to do one transaction with this person. You're going to, so I don't know.
Well, and I just thought of something. So Lady K, you go first. And then I just thought of with the One Ring footprint. Yeah.
I was just going to say one other fun fact about checks. Ripple did develop the amendment, but then decided it wasn't a good idea and pushed really hard for it not to be voted on. Oh, and the validators voted it in quite later in anyways, just for anyone who thinks Ripple controls the ledger.
Good point, Lady K.
Oh, that's really interesting. So yeah, I was just thinking right now, y'all get your welcome letters, welcome to be a nomad. And here's all the 30 trust lines of community projects that I might send you the tokens at one point. And I spend, a good chunk of time, exactly what you just said, running them down. Like, guys, I've just sent, I just tried 4 times in the past month to send you this token. Like, I don't have enough time to contact every single one of you and bug 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 you. And so this would be the perfect thing now where when I'm sending out those nomad sort of, because ARC and Reaper, I was just thinking, I can't wait till they have the Viva wallet. Patrick, I heard him started talking yesterday on Toasty's Space, and he was just like, I'm going to blow Salmon out of the water. And I was like, you do that. I can't wait. So yeah, no, very, because with the nomads, I've been trying, especially because the original nomads were all not blockchain people. And so I've been trying to introduce them to some of the tokens, specifically like Arc and Ascension and Reaper and Pillars and that whole ecosystem. And then obviously XMeme and anybody who's in our, community that deserves attention, and that it might be hard to pay attention. But maybe if I give you 5 cents of something now, hopefully down the road it will be something. And at least if you have it little tiny, like a dust, it's like the positive side of the dusting, right? Like anything can be used for good or bad. And that's why this whole thing is such a confusing paradigm to be in, because, everything, like I said to you guys earlier, everything I have is completely transparent. And I'm at this point just worried about the future in terms of the nefariousness. And I have a question for you guys. I just thought about this right now. Right now, we go to the web, like we can go to specific websites in order to look into the ledger. Do you think, or is it possible, or like, where does this fall in terms of like a login in the future where not anybody can go look? Like, what is that something? Or like, because I've always imagined like the banks, if they're going to use the ledger, they're going to have their entire ecosystem sort of behind a firewall. They might be using the rails, but I've been trying to like sort of understand that in my mind, and I can't really wrap my head around it.
It can't happen because
I was about to say that.
Yeah, because it's a public ledger. So any node can query the ledger. You hook a node up, you query the ledger. It will never be, walled. The only way that is possible is if you do a side chain, meaning your own blockchain, where then you make it not public. Like Monero is not public. There's a privacy aspect to it. Alpha is not public. There's other privacy tokens out there, right? But they're its own blockchain, and they have, their way of they use ZK proofs or no knowledge. There's different ways to do it.
Yeah.
ZKPs. Yeah. So that's the only way you can do it. Create an XRPL sidechain and then have it in a walled garden.
Well, and I think there are companies out there that are trying to do just that, right? And if you think about it logically, the whole be your own bank and that sort of thing, that's a great thing. But you do want that protection, right? And so if you are participating within your own walled garden, I can do transactions that are not public. So it's like if you send it to, let's just use an exchange for an example, right? You send it to an exchange or like what was the place that screwed me over? That went down.
Celsius.
Okay. Yeah. I liked Celsius, but you had to have a little note when you sent your transaction, because when you sent it, if somebody sent it to your wallet and they didn't put that tag there, they didn't know it was you. It just went into the big pool,
went into the big pot.
And their accounting system within Celsius would then take that, and that little tag was your account number associated with you. The outside world didn't know that was you, right? They just knew that it went to this big ass pot at Celsius. Okay. So your vetting of who you are was directly with Celsius, much like it is with your bank, right? And that's your account.
And Uphold. Uphold is like that too.
Yes. That destination tag is a memo. That's all public. Any part of that transaction is public. And that's why you can take the destination tag and search all the wallets that destination tag has interacted with.
So if you know what the destination tag is, right?
Yeah.
If you know to that level. But I'm willing to bet that they're working on it, because it's just not practical, right? This is why I always say we're the beta testers right now of all of this stuff, because the general population would never accept all of their transactions being public. It just ain't gonna work, bro.
But at the same time, are they also going to really be privy to all of that? Like, I think that a lot of, we know, because we've been reading these white papers, like we know because we've been really kind of honing in and drilling down with these particular exchanges. So we understand that, right? But I think that there's a lot of people that, one, aren't going to understand that, and two, don't care at all. You know what I mean? They're like, is this going to work
That
for
makes
me?
them a victim, though.
It does. It
Like,
does.
we have to answer these questions.
It does, but it makes sense that they very well might not be able to actually drill down and
Well,
say,
I mean, we've had so many people come into the ledger who don't even know that it's an open ledger, right? So like, you know, there, like, that's the thing. And that's sort of, honestly, that's the pillar I stand on in order to continue on doing what I'm doing, is that like, okay, not a lot of people are gonna know how to do this. The people that do, you know, want to go into my wallet and look at it, you know, like whatever, you know. And so I've just sort of taken that stance on all of this in terms of like, in the future, the vast majority of people will not, they'll just see the front end of everything. They won't even know that it's accessible. But those aren't the people that we're worried about. You know, we're worried about the people who are so nefarious that they have all this, you know. I mean, we've been doing this for like, what, 5 years? And how many scammers have come through? And you're just like, how do you even know how to do this? You know, like, I barely understand how the ledger works, and you can like scam me on it. Like, that means you have to have a level of understanding about, you know, how the system, you know. And so I'm not worried about the people who don't know how. I'm worried about the people who are, you know, tracking all my friends, and, you know, they saw that you had 10,000 XRP in 2025, and it's 2030, and, you know, you can you know that about that person. And so all of a sudden, you know, there's, anyways, I know we only have 10 minutes left, so I don't know what else you want to talk about.
This discussion is really, really important.
Mhm.
I do want to share this, the wallet types, guys, that we're talking about for the wallet segmentation. And so I don't know if anybody, can you guys read that well enough, or do you want me to read it? Does one of you want to read the different kinds?
Sure. Did you want to go first, Ms. Opti? Yeah, I see you.
All right.
All right. So
Main cold wallet. Okay, sorry. You do it.
Got it. All right. So the main cold wallet, the purpose is for long-term hodling, holding on for dear life, if you are ever wondered what hodl means, and normally has the largest holdings on it, has the lowest risk level, rarely rotates 1 to 2 years or after major events. And then hardware you could utilize for that would be something like a Ledger, Trezor, Tangem, or a Decent wallet. And the balance guideline, it basically, it's like the majority of your bags, your stack, right? And this is basically what I would consider to be like what I would call, quote unquote, your vault. Yeah. This is going to be the place that you drop it in, and this is, you know, it's your long-term holdings. This is where this is, and 9 times out of 10, this is probably held someplace that, you know, nobody knows.
And this is one that you would never co-mingle your funds with your other wallets.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. This is not the place for you to be purchasing NFTs.
No. Don't send from this wallet to your other wallets either.
Absolutely
Don't do it.
Because this is where, if you have your major holdings this way and someone tracks that particular address back to this wallet, they'll be able to see all of your holdings on that particular wallet.
Think about it like having your XRP under your mattress, like back in the day. Nobody even knew they had that cash stashed in the mattresses, right? Because a lot of these ones, they weren't KYC'd or whatever. They're just holding. They're just off in like nowhere land. Nobody knows you've got it. The minute you start transacting with that wallet, you're traceable. So, yep. Next, we got the daily hot wallets. Those you would use for like your DEX trading, decentralized exchanges. That's what DEX trading is. Payments, your tips, your regular use, something that you're using every day. The risk level for those type of wallets are medium. So you want to rotate those wallets every 1 to 3 months. And that would be like your Zaman app or some of the other wallets that we mentioned earlier. And basic guideline, you put only what you need for a month. So again, back to the principles of our banking and the way that we operate. If you're going to go shopping online and whatnot, you don't really want to have your whole bank account on that card that you're using, right? Just put a month's worth of play money on there and don't no more than that, right? And then what else we got, guys?
Before you go anywhere on that, I know that's called a hot wallet. The Zaman, though, also can be a cold wallet. If you decide that you wanted to get the pro version and get the Tangem cards that come along with it, that would make it as close to a cold wallet as you can get with it being a hot wallet.
Okay. Anyway, Lady K, can you see it or no?
Oh yeah, for where are we at? Multi-sig? Burner. Okay. NFTs, meme tokens, airdrops, public drops, and experimental projects. Highest risk, very often monthly or per risky activity. Fresh Zaman account or software wallet, and tiny amounts, just enough to play. So the burner wallet is like, because you have to think of all these platforms as attack vectors, right? You're connecting, you're interacting. You don't know, like, if they become hacked, if your seed phrases are going to be exposed in that hack. So you want to use the burner and the play wallet for your very risky connect to everything, get the airdrops, drop online to win the tokens on Coffee and Crypto with Stone and Lady K and sometimes Opti. That's what you want to use a burner wallet for.
Amen. And finally, you got the multi-sig wallet, which is the shared funds business or ultra high value, low risk as needed, XRP native multi-signing, 2 of 3, significant shared or protected funds. Kita, you have a little bit of experiences with this with your company, Kita's Brew and the Bearded Ape Society. You want to touch on that real quick?
Sure. So this is a multi-sig wallet. So it's shared funds business or ultra high value protection. It low risk, and it's an as needed wallet. They do have this on the XRPL native multi-signing. So you would have to actually go to the DEX on, or rather to the mainnet on XRPL to be able to, to sign or to be able to create your multi-sig wallet. It normally has the parameters that are set up with it of how many people are needed for there to be the multi-sig. And then those transactions would have to have that, would have to meet that quorum of however many have been designated in order to be able to have a consensus for that particular transaction. And, you can, I know we talked about this earlier, you can set up an escrow that's associated with it so that whatever is utilized or however you are utilizing for those particular funds or those transactions are in a specific place, and it would be set up with that multi-sig so that you could actually be able to take care of those particular transactions. And shout out to the 130 people that are here listening to us. And I did see that Uncle Buster just rolled up in the spot. Nerdy is here as well. Hey,
we love
Uncle
you guys.
Buster.
we got 8 minutes left. Actually, we've got six minutes left or so. One thing, reason I zoomed in on this, guys, for those of you that are watching this, probably the 130 of you that happen to be watching Digital Ladies Unscripted on a regular basis, we thank you very much. Daily hot wallet, DEX trading, payments. Wrong. Burner wallet is what I wanted to do. NFTs, meme tokens, airdrops, public drops, experimental projects, highest risk. All the things we're doing. We're on the spaces and we're doing all these things. It makes me think, okay, get a different wallet. You're supposed to be doing it very often, rotating your wallet addresses, right? This is something I hadn't really considered. I have certain things that are really important to me. Like something I'm never going to get rid of is my IMU TV protector, right? My IM collectible protector. That protector should not be in that wallet. should not be in that wallet. And you want to know what? I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, if I move it, I'm still going to be putting myself at risk because they'll know it was mine. I don't really care, actually. If I think about it, I just need it to be in a different wallet than all that other stuff, because then if that wallet gets compromised, all my stuff is compromised. And who do we know that happened to, Miss Keita?
Well, see, I had that.
See, what had happened was,
yeah, I actually did get, I actually had one of those phishing situations, and some of it was my fault, but yes, it wiped out my entire, that entire wallet. Now, mind you, it was pretty much a burner wallet, that I had that was wiped out, but it had quite a bit of NFTs in it. And it was a valuable lesson for myself, and it's all a learning curve. This isn't to make anybody feel bad. It's just, it is what it is. You live and you learn. The beautiful thing about it is I had sense enough not to utilize my, my cold storage that I use for these particular types of transactions. And so at least I thought about it from that vantage point. But I will say you just have to be vigilant, because people are out here, same way I always say there's a yin and a yang for everything. Just the same way that we use these things for good, people are going to use them for bad. You know what I'm saying? And so they have nothing better to do than to try to figure out how to take what you have. So just be vigilant and really just be mindful of how you're moving. Lady K says it best. Listen, if it sounds like they're trying to pull on your emotions and all of that, take a step back and take a second. And, didn't you say you have that on your desk?
I know, but I always say they call it a con for a reason, because they need your confidence to pull it off.
Very good.
Always with the one-liners, Lady K. Always with the one-liners.
It comes with wisdom.
Excellent.
We've only got a couple minutes left, guys, and I apologize because once again, 1 hour is, everyone's like, oh, 1 hour show is the where it's at. No, it's like not long enough to really dive in, because we could have just talked about one specific thing. But I did want to quickly go over the traceability. And I know, Lady K, can you summarize in 1 minute how freaking easy it is to trace your wallet on the Ledger? Or is that too much?
Absolutely. Opti made an NFT for me. You can go on and search the Optimistic Prime collection, find that NFT, click on it, and see what my wallet address is. And then from there, I can check the destination tags, and then I can see where your other wallets that you've interacted with are. It's just that easy.
Simple. Right? Love you, Marvin Davis. So to reduce your traceability, here are some quick tips, and I apologize. And hopefully you guys will join us in the after space at 10:10. I posted the link within the chat. Create new wallets regularly. Generate fresh XRP Ledger wallets addresses every few months or sooner if you've been very active. Most wallets like Zamin, Ledger, or Trust wallets make this easy. Just add a new account. Each new address requires, is it one XRP reserve? Is that what it is?
For a new wallet, yes.
Yeah, so for a new wallet address, so if you move your stuff out of there, then you can close it and you can get your XRP back for your old wallet, right? You don't have to just leave that hanging out there forever. A lot of people don't know that. Segment first, then rotate within the segments. So like we talked about earlier, think about the different kinds of wallets, what you're going to be using them for, write it out on a piece of paper, figure out what you need. Create your segments, and then combine the rotation with the segmentation. Your main cold wallet is your long-term holdings. Rotate those every 1 to 2 years or after major events like a large over-the-counter trade. If you do move funds, do large batches infrequently. Your daily hot wallet, DEX trading, payments, tips, rotate those every 1 to 3 months and fund it with only what you need for that period. And then, of course, your burner play wallet for NFTs, meme tokens, what we talked about, that very high risk, the public airdrops, all of that. Rotate those frequently. Ideally, create a new one for each risky activity or every month, and keep a minimum balance in those. Don't put a lot of money in there. And then also safe
1
fund
minute.
transfers between your. I won't do the song. Send from the old wallet into the new wallet, or a few transactions. And it also says avoid perfect round amounts. So instead of sending 1,000 XRP, send an odd amount like 1,102 cents and whatever, add a memo like personal transfer if you want to, but it doesn't affect your privacy, and never reuse the old addresses for receiving after you've retired it. Just don't use it ever again. Don't always fund new wallets for the same exact old wallet. We already talked about that. Also, be real careful about those vanity addresses because they do put a target on you. And with that, we got to go. We love you guys. It's been a fantastic show. Join us in the after space. We love you. Have a good rest of the day.
Digital ladies, break